In our response to COVID-19, certainly one of the most important aspects of our being prepared to have students and staff return is identification of possible COVID-19 cases within our school and being able to contact trace as quickly as possible. We are in constant contact with the Sarasota Department of Health. They've been involved in our process from day one and have approved where we are at this current point, which is what we're going to roll out as staff and students come back.
We're asking parents and guardians to work with us as a team to make sure that all of us are safe. We ask families that if someone is sick, stay home. If we do have a situation on campus where a student presents symptoms similar to COVID, we will bring that student to the clinic and isolate them. We have evaluated our spaces so that we have enough room to isolate those students that might be symptomatic and keep an eye on them until their parents or guardians are able to get to the school and pick them up. If it turns out that we have a positive diagnosis, then the Department of Health, the administrative offices of the school district, the landings, and the school site will work quickly and thoroughly to notify families or anyone that is at risk or involved.
We've developed an online form that feeds into a database that all staff and students will be tracked on. As soon as symptoms of COVID-19 appear in a student or staff member or a report of COVID-19, a clinic aide, a nurse, an assistant principal or principal will have access to the form. That starts our process. Back at the landings, we've got teams of people who are identified to respond to these reports. So some information gets input into that form. That report automatically notifies a team lead, a case manager. Our teams of response people are working with the sites to determine very quickly what that looks like in terms of exposure at a site. At this point, we will bring the Department of Health into the mix and we will discuss what's going on in this particular case. They will make determinations for us in terms of, does anybody have to be excluded from school? And if they do, for how long do they need to be excluded? Once that determination is made by our team and by the Department of Health, we will then communicate back to everybody involved in that case, whether it's students in a class, teachers. We will communicate directly to them in terms of do they need to go home for 14 days? Do they need to stay at work? Do they make sure they're wearing that face mask? That'll all come directly from the team. In addition to that, we will have a communication that goes out to that school or to that department that identifies what's the case look like and make sure we're reassuring people that we have addressed it with everybody affected and we're returning back to business as normal tomorrow. If that changes, or if we have to close a classroom, if we have to close a building at a school, or if we have to close an entire school, we will be working very closely with the health department to make that determination, and we will communicate that out as soon as we have that information. A key factor in all of this is we're going to provide a list of common COVID-19 symptoms, and we're going to ask parents, please, if your student is experiencing any of these symptoms, don't put them on a bus, don't bring them to the bus stop, don't bring them to school. That's our first line of defense in making sure we keep students who do come to school and who are healthy safe.